Here now is Steve Moore, economist. Steve, good to see you. So listen, you hear Dees come out and make these outrageous statements, but you look at the policies from this White House. Are these policies going to bring more economic opportunity for the American family?
You know, the average family has lost somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 of purchasing power in the last 2 years that Biden has been president, as you guys know, and that's because inflation, even in this latest month, continues to outpace people's paychecks. Now, do we have a good jobs market? Absolutely we do. It's a very good jobs market with a low unemployment rate and a lot of job openings. But wages are not keeping pace. Americans are getting poorer every month. I just saw a poll, by the way, that came out in the last few days that 6 out of 10 Americans rated the economy as bad. So I think when people listen to Biden's speech tomorrow night, they're going to probably wonder what country he's talking about, as if somehow these are the salad days for the American economy. And don't forget, the other thing that Americans, they're not stupid. We see what Biden has done to the massive increase in debt, the massive size of government, the out of control border, and the situation with, higher gas prices, higher food prices. Incidentally, did you guys happen to see that story? I think it was CNBC. More and more Americans are having to do their grocery stores at the dollar store because they can't afford food at the grocery store.
All right, Steve, if you were on set with me, you just talked about a rival business network. I would break your glasses in half if you were sitting here on set with me. You don't get to talk about like a rival business network. And that poll you just cited, we talked about it at the top of the show. Hello, McFly. Hello. State of the Union, we're going to hear a lot of lies, same lies, 6 of them you got. Walk us through them. Number one, go right through them.
By the way, the next time we get together, you can punch me right in the nose and break my glasses.
No, I'm not going to break your nose, but I will take your glasses off gingerly and snap them in half. That's as nice as I can be. Go ahead.
So very quickly, just a few of the big whoppers. One is, he's going to say this again. Have you heard him say that he's reduced the deficit by $1.4 trillion? That's only because he increased the deficit by $2.8 trillion his first year in office, then $1.4 trillion the next year. And now he's claiming that that's a reduction in the deficit. It's like he's saying if you gain 40 pounds one year and then 20 pounds the next year, you reduced your weight by 20 pounds. It's a crazy argument. Americans aren't buying it. He's going to say that the border is under control when, as you guys have reported, we have millions more people coming across, and we don't even know how many people are coming across every year. And then, of course, he's going to talk about gas prices. He's going to say, I've reduced gas prices, Dagan, when in fact, gas prices are now about $3.50 a gallon. They went up to about $5 a gallon earlier in the last summer, but they're still $1 a gallon more than when he came into office.
Oh, you got some more. Keep going. Economy is in a he's going to say he inherited an economy in a free fall.
Yeah, that's the most outrageous thing. I talk to my buddy Larry Kudlow and your buddy Larry Kudlow all the time about this. In the second half of 2020, the 6 months before Joe Biden was elected, we had the economy grew by almost 20%. We were in a ferocious recovery. The economy wasn't in shambles. We were coming out of COVID. We had the new vaccine. In fact, I would make the case that the economy would be absolutely booming today. And the other thing he keeps saying, and he'll probably mention this again, is that he is for oil and gas production and he's doing all he can to increase our production. No, he's not. No president since Harry Truman has allowed new drilling permits as low as Joe Biden has. Biden has basically declared war on American energy. The American people know this, by the way. I don't think they're buying that argument at all. And by the way, the biggest one of all, how about when he says, he said this last week, that the inflation, we had an out of control inflation when he came into office. The inflation rate was 1.4% when he came into office.
Steve, it's smart because you're laying out the lies he's been telling for the last several months, and the media never calls him out. They don't fact check him, and so he keeps telling the lies. And he's going to have the biggest bully pulpit in politics, which is the State of the Union, and he's going to go out there and reiterate those lies. But to your point, I believe the American people do understand this. They know their own pocketbooks. They know the gas pump. They know the grocery store. They know what happened under the last bit of the Trump administration, and then what happened 6 months into Biden with inflation. They're not stupid. To your point, they get this, and I think they'll hold him accountable for horrible policies. 20 seconds.
I agree with that. And, the one thing that people that get angry when I come on your show and other shows on Fox Business and I say that, inflation is 6 or 7%, people get angry because they feel like their inflation rate is about twice as high when you have to buy the essentials like groceries, food, gasoline, travel costs. Those are all up 10, 12%. So the real pain of inflation isn't, I think, even reflected in these official numbers.
I would agree with that. Steve Moore, always smart. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.